Beach is like like
I like the gold chain though. That's the best
the
part.
gold chain. Well, you took a beat. Like I
Yeah,
said,
I did.
so I got the picture of my eye. The only other picture that is the one girl that everybody made fun of. She had a patch on her eye. And now, I got, but that's all right. I always had a way with like when kids were like, even that. I'm not big enough, but I'm cool enough to shame you. Okay, so I used to be able to fight back like that.
They used to have people, girls, little kids with glasses, right?
Sure.
So they sing songs.
Oh, absolutely.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
I get nervous, I get sick, I like
Oh, I'll bet you.
yeah.
Because, you know, even though glasses, like, I mean, they're expensive, they go up. Back then, it's like, they put out the money, the parents. So you'd be like, what? You did what?
At this time, I would like to call the reorganization meeting to order with the reading of the meeting notice. The Board of Directors of the School District of the City of Erie, PA will meet in the auditorium at East Middle School, 1001 Atkins Street, on Wednesday, December 5th, 2018, at 6 p.m. for the purpose of perfecting an organization as prescribed by the school code. A president and a vice president are to be elected. Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be followed by a moment of, led by Darlene Feeney, followed by a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, roll call will be taken. Mr. Titus?
Here.
Mrs. Alexandrovich?
Here.
Mr. Cassillo?
Excused.
Mr. Fabrizi?
Here.
Mrs. Feeney?
Here.
Mr. Harkins?
Here.
Mrs. McNair?
Here.
Mr. Petrunger?
Here.
Mr. Spagel?
Here.
Nominations are now in order for a temporary chair. Are there any nominations?
I'd like to nominate Ms. Feeney. Second it.
Okay. Is there a motion to close nominations?
Motion to close.
Second.
Roll call to elect temporary chair. Mr. Titus?
Yes.
Mrs. Alexandrovich?
Yes.
Mr. Fabrizi?
Yes.
Mrs. Feeney?
Yes.
Mr. Harkins? Mrs. McNair?
Yes.
Mr. Petrunger?
Yes.
Mr. Spagel?
Yes.
I'll now turn the chair over to Mrs. Feeney.
Nominations are now in order for the office of President of the Erie School Board.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I'd like to
Fabrizi.
nominate Frank Petrunger for president.
Do I have a second?
Second.
So moved. All in favor?
Aye.
Wait.
At this point, you would ask for further nominations,
Are there any further nominations?
and then a motion to close nominations.
Motion to close nominations.
So be it.
Second.
We'll do a roll call vote
Roll
would be
call.
appropriate.
Mr. Titus?
Yes.
Mrs. Alexandrovich?
Yes.
Mr. Fabrizi?
Yes.
Mrs. Feeney?
Yes.
Mr. Harkins? Mrs. McNair?
Yes.
Mr. Petrunger?
Yes.
Mr. Spagel?
Yes. Motions are now in order for the office of Vice President of the Erie School Board.
Mr. President?
Yes.
I'd like to nominate John Harkins.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Are there any other nominations? Can I have a motion to close nominations for Vice President?
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please, to elect.
Mr. Titus?
Yes.
Mrs. Alexandrovich?
Yes.
Mr. Fabrizi?
Yes.
Mrs. Feeney?
Yes.
Mr. Harkins? Mrs. McNair?
Yes.
Mr. Petrunger?
Yes.
Mr. Spagel?
Yes. Mr. Harkins? I would just like to open up by saying thank you to all my fellow directors for having their trust in me to be president again. We are moving into new territories as we're going on. I think we're doing better and better, and with the leadership of Mr. Polito, we're in the right direction, and I really think we're going to make a difference for our kids. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Harkins.
Thank you, Frank, and congratulations. You've done a good job, and you will continue to, I'm sure. We've been through a very difficult period, and we've worked our way through some extraordinary problems, and it's remarkable. It's extraordinary. I want to just say one thing, that how welcome and pleasant it was to have Mrs. Feeney and Mr. Titus join us this year. I didn't know either one of them ahead of time and didn't know what to expect, but they have been very extraordinary board members. They came in with different perspectives from each other, but a willingness to serve and an eagerness and an inquisitiveness. And Tyler, today's student has a lot of stresses on them and a lot of things that we didn't grow up with when we were in school, but Tyler is a strong advocate for the needs of today's young people who have extra demands on them psychologically and emotionally, among other things. So he asks good questions. He speaks up strongly when he feels strongly, and Darlene brings the perspective of a retired teacher, and she knows more about the educational status of the district and educational matters in general than just her expertise as an elementary teacher. She also is very familiar with athletics and all aspects. So anyway, I just want to say it was a very welcome shot in the arm for us to receive these two people and join us, and all the more reason to be optimistic going forward.
Thank you. I second that, too. Any other board member like to say anything?
Mr. President?
Yes.
First of all, I just want to congratulate you on your presidency and Mr. Harkins.
Thank you.
And I do want to echo kind of what John said, is that the entire board, I've seen a lot of boards in my years, and I think that we all work together, bring different perspectives, the conversations go, and then we make the decisions that we think are best for the kids of Erie. So I'm proud to be a part of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? If not, I'll turn it over to the superintendent. Mr. Polito.
Well, we've been talking a lot this week in the office about how much has changed over the last year. If you look back to last year at this time, we had just been notified that the $14 million from the state was going to be made permanent. And at this meeting, or at least this month, we made the decision to hire Mutiu and Performance Fact for a strategic plan. And over the last year, we were very thoughtful about the approach we took as a district. We put together a very community-driven strategic plan. We hired architects to really do a deep dive into our facilities and really assess our needs and prioritize them. And we've been working with Charles on our financial recovery plan. And I think the decisions that this board made on Saturday really moves us into the next phase of our recovery and out of planning and into implementation. And I just wanted to take a moment and thank the board for their support of everything that we're doing here in the district over the last year. I really look forward to working with you on this next phase, this implementation phase. And with what we've been talking about, 2019 is shaping up to be a very busy year.
Thank you. Ms. Jones.
I just want to thank the board for allowing me to continue to serve as your board secretary. I want you to know that our office is always open and we're here to serve you. I also want to congratulate Mr. Fertrunger and Mr. Harkins on your re-election, and I look forward to working with you in the upcoming year. And I just want to wish everyone out in TV land a happy holiday season.
Thank you. Before I do a motion to adjourn, I just want everybody to know it's Andy Johnson's birthday today, so if you see him back there, wish him a happy birthday. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I'll make a motion. Tom first, John second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting's adjourned.